This is the...
Can't breathe. Stop breathing.
Hold your breath.
I didn't breathe that time, did I?
This is the Big Deal Podcast, brought to you and powered by New Covenant Baptist Church in Albertville, Alabama. And on this podcast, we're asking the question, what's the big deal about all things Bible, theology, and culture? I'm Justin.
I'm Brad.
Welcome to the Big Deal. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please follow. You can comment on Spotify. You can interact with us there. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment on there too. Yeah. If you see our little reels anywhere on TikTok or YouTube, do the same thing.
Like that guy.
Tell us we're idiots.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That guy don't look like his voice.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. It's been a beautiful day. This is Labor Day. We realized it's a day off, right? It's a day off. But
yes, but here we are,
only
working
day
for you.
Working for you. It's our only day to film the podcast, so we had to do it anyways.
There's no better way to celebrate labor than by not doing it.
That's right, and that's what we did all day until now. And then we're going to start we're doing the Hebrew calendar, where the day starts in the evening.
Oh, nice.
And so that's what we're doing this evening. Yeah, this is actually Tuesday.
Don't say stuff like that to me because I'll get it in my head and I'll be messed up.
Wait, today is Tuesday. I didn't go to work today. Oh no! So I've just got to be real with you, Brad. I can't think of any good questions. I'm questioned out.
That's it.
I got nothing.
11 episodes. Yeah, that's all we had.
That's all I had in me. And I had 10 icebreaker questions. And after that, I'm super boring.
Oh.
So it's up to you now.
Okay, so I have to ask me a question?
Yeah. Well, you have to ask me, and I'll ask
you a question. Yeah. Okay. This is going to be lame. What is your earliest childhood memory? First thing you can remember.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Oh, is that a good one?
Yeah, it's a cool one. Yeah.
What's the very first thing?
The very first thing I remember is getting ticks pulled off of me in the bathtub. My mom was pulling ticks off of me. I was playing outside. There's a cedar tree in the yard for this house that we lived in.
Yeah,
I was probably kindergarten, maybe a little bit before kindergarten, right around there though. I was probably just before kindergarten, and there's this cedar tree was infested with ticks.
Oh man!
And my earliest memory is standing in the bathtub, and my mom was just pulling ticks off me like crazy, searching my hair and everything.
Man, that is awful.
That season is when my memories start for some reason. It's like I remember my babysitter.
That was traumatic. Not the babysitter, but like the
babysitter. I think her name was Miss Beth. I still remember her name.
I wonder what she's doing.
Man, I know, right? That'd be wild. Yeah.
Maybe she listens to the Big Deal podcast. Maybe. She's like, I used to babysit that kid.
What a little dweeb.
Never thought he'd amount to anything. Look at it now.
I know. Has dozens of listeners. Tens. What about you? What's your earliest childhood memory?
You're not going to believe it.
Really?
But it has to do with bugs.
Okay, no.
So when I was a kid, we went to Florida. And we ran through like a locust storm thing, and so many bugs splatted on the windshield. We had to pull off the road because we couldn't see. My mom couldn't see. We were following my grandparents. That's the first thing I remember. And I remember going just like bug guts all over the windshield.
Wow! I wonder if that was the last cicada bloom.
I have no. It wasn't cicadas. It was cicadas. It was like grasshoppers.
Oh wow!
It was like locusts or something.
Weird.
Isn't that weird?
I didn't know we had stuff like that.
I've never seen it since.
Wow.
It was bizarre.
There was a plague. It was a plague.
That was in the year of our Lord, 1980, probably.
Wow.
1979, perhaps.
Yeah, you are so old.
My mother drove an Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Really?
It was blue.
That's classic right there, man.
Classic, baby. I was so small I could lay in the floorboard and sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost drowned.
We used to do stuff like that.
Almost drown?
No, lay in the floorboard in the cars and stuff.
We used to lay in the back where the window came down. The sun would come in like a cat.
I rode
because parents didn't care if they wrecked and you didn't have a seatbelt on. We didn't even have. There were no car seats.
Yeah, we didn't have car seats when I was a kid. We drove all the way to Minnesota once. All the way back, I laid in the back of a Suburban, just laid down, read a book, chilled the whole way back.
My grandfather used to come up. He had an El Camino. No. It was a Ranchero.
Okay.
It was the Ford version of the El Camino.
Oh, nice. Who made the El Camino?
Ford.
Okay.
No. Chevy made the El Camino.
Yeah,
I think Ford made the Ranchero.
Okay.
And so we used to stand up in the back of the Ranchero. They would take us. He would take us to his house in East Gadsden from Albertville, which is like a 25, 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
And we would ride in the back as like children.
Yeah.
And we'd be playing in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Going 60 miles an hour. Every once in a while, he'd roll down the window and he would slap the top of the truck and he'd say, "Sit down."
Yeah.
We would be standing up in the back of
The whole
truck
time.
the whole time. And he'd go, "Sit down, boys. I might have to put on my brakes."
So wild, man. Dude, if someone drove down 431 to Gadsden and they had a bunch of kids in the back of the car, they'd call the cops.
People would die.
They
People
would be
freak out.
calling the cops
and we
like
were
crazy. Yeah.
We were like spitting and seeing how far it would go.
Yeah,
and
trying
like,
to spit stop signs and
yeah,
stuff.
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's wild. The world's changed.
That's how it was in 1982.
We're very risk averse now. Fearful.
Well,
people.
we lost a few, doing
did.
that probably.
That's true.
Eventually,
No, it's
it was
true.
like,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we should stop letting children. But like, cars had only been out like 60 years at that point. When you think about it.
Yeah. And
not even that long.
I wonder.
Wow.
You think about. We've talked about this a little bit in our town. Like the ability to ride a bike around town is basically you can't.
Gone.
And it's not like kids don't ride bikes anymore.
Yeah.
It's that like there are just a billion cars on the road.
Don't get out of my sight.
Driving crazy, man.
That's right.
And so I wonder if it's some of that too. Just how many more cars on the road. And
well, I talked about this with somebody one time when I was on deployment actually, and they said now they're just scared their kids will get kidnapped. And I said, well, they got kidnapped when I was little too. That was like 1987 was peak kidnapper. You can't really get away with it now.
It was like on the news all the time,
all
dude.
the time.
All the time.
And the parents are still like, go outside, come back at dark.
Yeah.
There's another phenomenon I like to think about that our younger listeners have no idea about. We had no cell phones, of course.
Yeah.
And we came home. When it started getting dusky dark, all over town, you would hear this, "Brad, come home." Like moms would go outside and start yelling at the top of their voice for their children. And we'd be out there playing in the woods with sticks, whacking each other because we didn't have anything fun.
Yeah.
And we'd stop and be like, "Justin, I think I hear your mom calling you." And we'd sit there and you hear, "Justin." Like, "Oh, I gotta go, guys." You get on his bike, like, shoo, 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 he is gone. I guess we better go.
Single speed.
And if you got home, Mom's like, "Where were you at? I was calling you." You'd be like in trouble. You'd be like, "I was down in the woods." We had these woods. We called them the trails.
Yeah.
I was down in the trails.
Yeah.
We were playing Army.
I was digging a hole.
We were digging a hole, filling it back up. That's the kind of fun stuff we did.
We had this hole that we dug under our treehouse growing up. I mean, we probably dug that thing 6 feet deep.
Yeah.
We dug a cave out of the side of the hill, just for funsies.
Mr. Underhill.
Yeah.
You were a hobbit.
I still am. Anyone seen my feet recently?
You're more dwarvish with the beard, though.
Since I've grown the beard, I am more dwarvish. Yeah. Well, we usually talk about the Bible on this podcast.
Yes.
And so I guess we'll get to that.
That's what you get for letting me ask the question.
That was a great question. Very interesting. We both have bug memories.
The very first memories.
Weird,
of
man.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. I'm not really afraid of bugs. So it's not like a fear
I'm not
thing.
either. It's just like a weird thing. I have a couple of memories. I don't know which one's older, but that was like the one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we're tracking through Genesis. We're tracking through the whole Bible, but it just takes, if you want to get all the themes right in the scriptures through the whole all 66 books, you got to spend some time in Genesis.
You have to.
You have to deal with how all of these themes are set up and how they're repeated in Genesis, because those same things track through the rest of the scriptures, all 1,600 pages, whatever it is, in your Bible. There's a lot of themes that are repeated, and they all start here in Genesis. So we're taking it a little slower here at the beginning, and we just talked about circumcision last week. Circumcision.
We sure did.
We did. That was a wildly fun one. I was not expecting that to be so much fun. I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought?
Circumcision would be a fun
Moving
conversation.
right along.
And we're picking up still kind of in the middle of the story of Abraham, maybe towards the end of his story arc. In some just a wild. This is a wild one, right?
Oh man,
this one's weird. This is basically what we would say the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Sodom and Gomorrah have a kind of iconic quality as a story in the Bible. People know about this.
Yes.
Even if they're not Christians, even if they're not like...
Even if they don't know who Abraham is.
That's right.
Yeah.
And actually, usually they know it and don't even realize Abraham has a piece in this story, has a part in the story. They just know that God one time destroyed two cities called Sodom and Gomorrah.
Because gay people was in it.
Because gay people.
That's what they
think. That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
100%.
Yeah.
They don't know Lot's involved or Abraham or what it has to do thematically. It's like God killed the city full of gay people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and
that's what people think the story's
right.
about.
And I think it's probably been brought more into the limelight in the last decade or two because of like the activism that's been going on around.
Oh yeah, for sure.
With LGBTQ stuff, and so we're gonna look at this story, and I mean we'll touch on some of those issues that are.
I mean,
important.
even on the books in the United States when they have sodomy laws, we're not going to explain it, but it comes from Sodom and Gomorrah.
It does.
Yeah,
sodomy. And you've all probably heard like horrible stories on the news or something where someone is convicted of sodomy. Yeah, and actually that's the root. That's what that is. It's Sodom.
Yeah,
it's the city. And so pretty iconic, but not always necessarily in a good way. Sometimes I guess iconic just means a positive thing.
It's infamous.
This is infamous.
More than famous.
That's right. Yeah, that's what infamous means. Yeah, we've made that joke like 4 weeks in a row, I think.
Well, Dumb and Dumber never gets old.
That's right. That's right. So also, before we get started, I just want to shout out our newest sponsor of the podcast. We got Burger King.
They are in no way associated with us and would be embarrassed if they knew.
Yeah, that's true. But looks like a delicious Dr. Pepper, though.
It was a Diet Dr. Pepper. It actually is a little off. It's in one of those machines that's got like 57 drinks in it.
They're not as good.
They're not.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of residual, I think.
Yeah, you got a little Fanta in it, or a little High C or something.
Yeah. It's a little bit off.
It's only supposed to be 23 flavors, man. I don't want 26. Is it 23?
What am I, a 12-year-old at a baseball field? Getting a suicide?
Oh, man.
Okay, let's talk about the Bible.
Yeah, all right. So let's get into Genesis 18. We literally did the first verse last week. We talked about it and just about God appearing to Abraham. But more specifically, the Lord appears to Abraham here, and he looks up. Abraham looks up, and he saw three men standing near him. That's what it means. That when it says the Lord appeared to him, and he looks up and he sees three men.
And does it say Lord, capital Lord?
It does.
You know why?
Because that's God.
Because it says
Yahweh.
Yahweh appeared to him and he saw three men.
Whoa, what does that mean, Brad?
Well, I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I know.
But I think I'm not sure. Because two of them kind of wind up being angels. I think what I can say definitely. Probably, is that when people see God, it is never a clear picture given. If that makes sense. So, like Moses sees God's, and he sees the hinder parts. It says in the KJV, he's only allowed to see a glimpse. And so, anytime somebody sees the Lord in the Scripture, like this or Yahweh, it's always it either moves on really quickly or it's not a clear thing given.
His last appearance was as a smoke and fire.
Yeah, smoke and fire.
So this is a different kind of appearance here. It's three men standing near him, and so if you're reading a bunch of old dead guys, like people from the early church onward into the Reformation, they're going to immediately look at this and say Trinity. And for some reason, possible. in the modern era, we don't do that. When we kind of like, it's how do you know it's a Trinity or something? But it's like,
there's reasons.
Yeah,
it's because they start acting a little different, and they're like, we're gonna walk down and check stuff out.
There's a lot of
there's two of them, and then there was one of them could be Jesus.
Yeah, that's basically what they used to say. I don't know if it is or not. Regardless, it is interesting.
If somebody said, I think that's the Trinity, I'd be like, okay.
Yep, that's
They'd
right.
Say, I think this is just angels. I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Might be. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Same thing with how we looked at Melchizedek a couple of weeks ago. Is Melchizedek Jesus? Maybe.
I'm 80%.
80% sure, but there's a 20% in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't say. It's not very explicit.
No.
But whatever these three men are, they are able to. It's interchangeably said that it could be the Lord or these three men, and that's interchangeable.
Yeah.
And even later on, they're called angels, but they're also simultaneously called the Lord. And so that is an interesting situation with just how angel is used in the Old Testament.
Yeah. And
the angel of the Lord.
There's another thing that's weird because it says that there's three angels, but when Abraham is talking to them, he uses the singular.
Oh, wow.
And so I don't...
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird.
And he says Adonai, singular. Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Might have been some kind of weird...
I don't know. Yeah, so the three men show up.
Mm-hmm.
He saw them. He ran from the entrance of the tent to meet them, bowed to the ground, and said, My Lord.
He knew he saw something.
Yeah, if I have found favor with you, please do not go on past your servant. Let a little water be brought that you may wash your feet and rest yourselves under the tree. I will bring a bit of bread so that you may strengthen yourselves. This is why you've passed your servant's way. Later you can continue on. This is weird. It's a kind of a weird interaction. It's like on one hand, he obviously knows that this is mega important. Mm-hmm. Not exactly how you'd expect someone to treat God.
No.
You know?
Well, also... There's a theme here.
Oh, show me the
There's a theme. Yeah. So we're fixing to get to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And what does Lot do when he sees the men in the town square? He offers them to come to his house.
That's right. Yeah.
So Abraham also sees these strangers coming by and demonstrates hospitality. And we know from Hebrews chapter 13, it says, let brotherly love continue. Do not cease to show hospitality. It is a Christian virtue.
You just preached that virtue. Sunday morning.
Oh, I was just wanting people to think I just knew it off the top of my head. Oh. Yeah, it's true. So the theme here is the hospitality. Mm-hmm. And the great sin of Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh, let's don't get there yet.
Don't wait. Wait on it.
But
so it's setting a theme.
Yes,
for the whole story.
Hospitality. And it's extravagant.
Yeah, this is how God's people welcome
Abraham's,
a stranger.
You're shocked because he bows down and calls him Lord, which doesn't mean God there. You can properly address God as Adonai, but also you can call people like in the Middle Ages where it'd be like, my Lord, my liege.
He turns out to be the Lord Yahweh.
He does.
But we'll see that.
I think the purpose of it here is to show the humility of Abraham and also his willingness to show hospitality to strangers. Because remember, he's in the middle of nowhere. He's out by the oaks of Mamre.
Yeah,
these dudes could be just wandering about. He's like, Sarah, we got to get these boys something to eat. They might be hungry.
So they do that. Like they slaughter a calf and get cheese curds and stuff. And
didn't he tell Sarah to do it?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he said to Sarah, "Quick, knead 3 measures of fine flour, make bread." They do it. Yeah, they get some food ready.
Wow,
together.
Sarah getting after it.
Yeah,
kill the thing, get some bread ready.
And he says right after these 3 men, they said, "Where is your wife Sarah?" They ask him.
Yeah.
They're in the tent. He answered, "The Lord said." There's Yahweh. That's the capital, all capital Lord that you see in your Bible. That means Yahweh. That's God's name. "I will certainly come back to you in about a year's time, and your wife Sarah will have a son." Now Sarah was listening at the entrance of the tent.
Hey, dropping
him.
no eaves. Yeah, she was. She was over. Yeah, she was.
Samwise Gamgee. Yeah.
Look, now, people haven't changed in how many ever 1,000 years. She was in there kneading that bread like
she was.
What talking about?
Yeah.
It's not fair, but I always think she's like a little bit. She's like, here I am, killing this thing and kneading this bread, and he's out there smoking the pipe with the boys, while I'm in here doing all the work, whatever. I don't know. Funny. She probably didn't do that. That's just my own headcanon. But she's also like eavesdropping. Right?
Yeah, she's totally eavesdropping.
Because, also in her defense, I'm on her side, okay? Not a lot of news probably blew through the town.
It's probably pretty exciting.
In the Oaks of Mamre. It was probably pretty exciting when 3 strangers show up. She's like, I wonder what news of whatever's going on. She's listening. Anyway, I'm going to come back next year and Sarah's going to have a baby. And she's like 90.
Yeah, this is like the promise has gotten very specific all of a sudden. 1 year from now.
1 year.
Whoa.
And it's, by my calculation, take 9 months.
Yeah. So she says Sarah had passed the age of childbearing, obviously. So she laughed to herself. Yeah. After I'm worn out and my Lord is old, will I have delight? But the Lord asked Abraham, why did Sarah laugh, saying, can I really have a baby when I'm old? Is anything impossible?
Sarah laughed to herself. She Isaac.
Yeah, she Isaac. Isn't that's the baby's name?
It's the second time.
Yeah. It is the second time. Yeah.
Abraham laughed, said, oh, that Ishmael might be before you. Said, yeah, it's going to be, you're going to name him Isaac. You're going to name him Laughter. We're going to see who has the last laugh.
That's right. And she laughs.
And then she laughs. She's like,
and lo and behold.
Yeah.
Is anything impossible for the Lord Yahweh, right? At the point in time, I'll come back to you in about a year. She will have a son. Sarah denied it. I did not laugh, she said, because she was afraid. But he replied, no, you did laugh.
Yeah, now...
That's kind of a funny interaction.
What's funny about this is the scene isn't set very good.
Yeah.
Is she still in the tent?
I guess.
Did she call out through the tent? She's like, why did Sarah laugh when I said that? And from the tent here, go, I didn't laugh.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you did.
I think Gandalf did, pulled the curtain back and saw Samwise Gamgee. I ain't dropping no ease.
Or like when Pippin and them blew up his fireworks and he grabs them by the ear.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she laughed. I like to think she hollered it from the tent. I didn't laugh. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So after this little interaction with Sarah, this is where we get to the Sodom and Gomorrah part of the whole story. The men got up from there and looked out over Sodom, and Abraham was walking with them to see them off. Then the Lord said, should I hide what I'm about to do from Abraham? Abraham is to become a great and powerful nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him so that he will command his children and his house after him to keep the way of the Lord Yahweh by doing what is right and just. This is how the Lord will fulfill to Abraham what he has promised him. Then the Lord said, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is immense, and their sin is extremely serious. Now, what does your translation say on that?
Exceedingly grave.
I like that. That's got more gravitas to it, I'll go down to see if what they've done justifies the cry that has come up to me. If not, I will find out. This is the Lord speaking. That's kind of a wild thing to say. Yeah. Why does he need to walk down there and look around?
I don't know. Why does he? He knows everything, right?
He does. He's omniscient. I don't know. I guess it's just a feature of the story.
I don't know.
There's a thing called anthropomorphism. Whoa, that's a word.
Anthropomorphism.
Yeah. I actually got it right the first time.
Anthropomorphism.
Anthropomorphism.
Yeah. Is it ephicism? I don't know.
Anthropomorphism.
It is when you attribute manly, mankind traits to something that doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the Bible, that happens to God for the sake of the story.
Yeah.
It's like God doesn't actually have to come down and look around to know things. He knows all things at all times in all ways. And so this is just kind of like, it is the same level of him in the garden saying, Adam, where are you?
Where are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually kind of, I don't know, baiting a response from Abraham here. Because Abraham immediately assumes they're going to get destroyed.
Yeah. Oh, similar to Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Let us go down and see.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so this is just a precursor to another judgment.
Yeah, it is. When God starts asking questions, be ready.
Yeah, get ready, right? And so the men turned from there and went toward Sodom while Abraham remained standing before the Lord Yahweh. Abraham stepped forward and said...
Yeah, that's where it gets weird. So a couple of them leave and he's still standing before the Lord. So maybe there's angelic people, or maybe the theophany is Jesus. I
don't know.
One of them's Jesus. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Yeah. Abraham stepped forward and said... This is a big question.
Yeah.
So everyone buckle up. Okay, if you're driving right now, make sure you're buckled up. You're ready to go.
Ready.
This is an important question. Okay, it says... Will you really sweep away the righteous with the wicked?
Oh. Would God do that?
Would he? That's a good question just to think about.
Yeah.
Because that's
in
what
judgment.
Abraham is looking at these cities over here, and God saying, I'm about to wipe these cities out because they're wicked. And Abraham's like, well, what about all the righteous people there?
Now, does Abraham have any reason to be uptight?
Has at least one reason to be uptight.
He's got a family down there.
That's right.
Yeah, Lot, his
Lot,
nephew, lives
yeah.
in Sodom. He already rescued him once. And not only Lot, but Lot has a wife and children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he is talking about Lot and his family.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
are you going to kill off Lot and his
Yeah,
crew?
the righteous.
Yeah, that's the righteous.
In fact, in Hebrews, he's called righteous Lot.
That's
it says
right.
his soul is vexed
Yep.
at the wickedness that's going on in Sodom every day.
Wow. And so he's asking about Lot. He's
And
asking,
in a couple of chapters, we'll revisit whether or not he's righteous Lot. But I'm just telling you
it's
right
interesting.
now.
Yeah. Well, we already learned a lot about what righteousness is.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's not sinlessness.
No, it's not.
So what if Abraham says, what if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away instead of sparing the place for the sake of 50 righteous people who are in it? And he tells God, you could not possibly do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. You could not possibly do that. Won't the judge of the whole earth do what is just? Man, that's like laying it out flat, isn't he?
Man,
you know?
Abraham doesn't mess around when he talks to God.
He don't.
We've already seen that in Genesis 15.
Yep.
He's like,
Yep.
what are you going to give me since I haven't had a boy born in my house? How am I going to know this is going to happen?
Yep.
He might have said it less,
Maybe
forcefully than
less
that.
angst, maybe? I don't know.
Less provocatively.
I mean, this is a provocative thing to say.
Yeah.
I don't know, like he's calling God's justice
well,
into
he
question,
is
you know?
pleading for his nephew's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. And with whatever logic he can muster up, you know. And the Lord said, he responds, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
50 righteous people in the whole city? It's probably thousands.
Yeah.
You know, I'll spare it. Then Abraham answered, since I have ventured to speak to my Lord, even though I am dust and ashes, suppose the 50 righteous lack 5. So 45.
Yeah.
And it keeps on going down.
I hear in the background,
Yeah, it's right, yeah.
45, 45, we got a 45, we got 45.
And the Lord every time responds like, yeah, I'll do it for them. I'll do it for 40.
Yeah.
I'll do it for 30.
Yeah, 40, what about 30? What about 30? Can you give me 30, 20, do we got 20?
He goes
20?
all the way down. He says, verse 32, let my Lord not be angry, and I will speak one more time. Suppose 10 are found there.
Can I get 10? Can I get 10? Can I get 10? Sold for 10.
Yeah, he answered,
Yep.
I will not destroy it on account of 10. Mm-hmm. When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he departed, and Abraham returned to his place.
Abraham was, do you think he was counting? Lot.
Yeah.
Lot's wife, his 2 daughters, sons-in-laws, maybe 2 more daughters. We're already up to 8.
I know it. It's
Right? So he's
wild.
like,
yeah.
I think he's counting. I think he's trying to get it close to Lot's family as he can.
I listened.
That's speculation.
It is, yeah.
But I don't think it's off.
There's a sermon by Tim Keller about this. It was really good. But he enters into some kind of holy speculation a little bit on this. Does
he say what I said?
No. He says something a little different. He says that the expectation that you get at the end of this countdown is, why didn't he say 1?
Yeah.
You know, why didn't he say 1? Why didn't he just go down to 1? Like, it's Lot. Why didn't you go down to him? And that it's held in suspense. That for the sake of one person, one righteous person, God would save the many. And it's held in suspense all the way to Matthew 26,
Yeah.
the death of Christ.
Well, the other question is, will God sweep away the righteous with the wicked?
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
No, and that's right. He won't.
And he doesn't.
The righteous always live.
He may not spare the city on their account, but he gets them out here.
He does. He still gets them
Under
out.
now this is divine judgment. That doesn't mean like when hurricanes come and
Yeah, that's right.
people get killed or whatever.
Yeah, this is a type of the judgment, the same kind of judgment we saw with the exile from Eden, the flood, the Tower of Babel.
These are direct judgments from God.
This is part of this same kind of arc of judgment that's building up against sin that, most of the time, as we've seen.
It also shows, we've been taken forever because we're awesome exegetes of the scripture, but this is not long since the narrative on the flood.
It's not.
And everything was bad.
This is chapter 18.
Now are we going to find 10 people in this whole city who are righteous?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Man.
It's not many.
There
were only 8 in the ark.
The downward spiral, I know, and it ends up being, what, 3. Kind of.
Yeah.
It does. That's what it ends up being. And so we're seeing the same thing happen, that God is, he is so faithful to his promise, right? To bless those who bless Abraham, to take responsibility for Abraham's family.
Absolutely.
And he's doing that even right now through Lot. And Lot's like his nephew or something, okay? Extended family, kind of. And so he's doing that. Like, God is going to actually save Lot. So you get to chapter 19, the 2 angels. Now it's 2 angels, right? So it's, like I said, it's a little funky.
2 of them left while he was talking to Yahweh.
And so these are the 2 angels entered Sodom. So this might be the Holy Spirit and Jesus, right? I don't know. The Father stayed with them. The 2 angels entered Sodom in the evening as Lot was sitting in Sodom's gateway. When Lot saw them, he got up to meet them. He bowed with his face to the ground. He said, "My lords, turn aside to your servant's house, wash your feet, spend the night. Then you can get up early, you can go on your way." So same hospitality thing, right?
Hospitality, there's a couple of things to note here. Standing in the gate was a thing the elders did.
Oh, yeah.
In ancient days. It pops up in other places too, like off the top of my head, in the book of Ruth, Boaz goes to the gate where the elders are gathered, and this is where they did legal transactions. The elders in the city would sit at the gate, and they would hear, like, not necessarily criminal cases, maybe, but sometimes perhaps.
Civil
but it was listen to civil cases, and Lot is there, so that means maybe he was considered an elder in the city, which is going to be an accusation made against him here in a minute.
Oh yeah.
That here this foreigner's come amongst us. Now he's going to be our judge, right? Then he's practicing hospitality because they didn't have the Motel 6. So if strangers entered the city, where they stay?
And he invites them into his house,
into his home.
Wow.
Hospitality. He entertained angels unaware.
Yeah, that's right.
Hebrews 13.
That's Hebrews 13. It's talking about this, isn't it? Yeah. No, they said, the angel said, "We would rather spend the night in the square." Bad idea. Don't do that, guys. But he urged them to so strongly that they followed him and went into his house.
I feel like these angels are a little southern. I don't think they meant it. It's like, "Hey, man, won't you like offering snacks?" "Oh, I couldn't. I'm full. I just ate." "No, man, please have one of my wife's fresh baked chocolate chip cookies." "Okay, I'll just have one. I'll just have one." Yeah, maybe I'm gonna have 2. But at first you gotta be like, "Oh, we're fine. We'll sleep outside."
You have to reject the hospitality at first to show like you're not desperate or something.
Make sure he's serious. "No, that's all right."
Oh, yeah. To make sure that they're not
just
doing
being nice.
Yeah, you want them to be genuine.
Do other people say, "Oh, he's just being nice," or is that like a southern?
That's a southern thing, I guess. I don't know.
But he meant it. It's like, "No, guys, come on. You don't have to sleep out here. I got an extra room."
Always just being nice means he really doesn't want anything to do with you.
Well, he feels culturally obligated to offer you something he doesn't want to give.
Yeah.
That's called just being nice.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So but he will give it.
Yeah, if you're not from around these parts, that's what that means.
From around here. Yeah.
Y'all ain't from around here now, are you?
Yeah.
They want to spend the night square. Now he urges them. They come back. He prepared a feast and baked unleavened bread for them, and they ate.
Why unleavened? It bakes faster. Don't have to rise.
That's right.
Seriously.
It's quick. It's like a cracker kind of thing.
Yeah, he made crackers. He made a feast, but it's the same. It's mirrored in Abraham's hospitality. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
It's fixing to devolve quickly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not such a nice story after this. Before they went to bed, the men of the city of Sodom, both young and old.
Yeah.
The whole population.
2 generations, at least. Yeah.
Surrounded the house. Mm-hmm. They called out to Lot and said, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Send them out to us so we can have sex with them." Sheesh.
That's bad.
That sucks. Yeah. I don't like that town.
I don't like that
Don't think God liked that town either.
I am on the smiting end of things at this point with God. I'm like, yeah, let's just go ahead. I feel like at this point the angels knew, dear reader, that this place has got to go.
I wonder if they're wanting to stay out in the square. Because when they came, it was about to be wipeout time.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know, man. Golly, it just seems like it gets worse.
It gets worse. It's so bad.
Oh, my gosh. I hate this part. Lot went out to them at the entrance and shut the door behind him. He said, "Don't do this evil, my brothers."
Yes. Now go on.
Look, I've got 2 daughters who haven't been intimate with a man. I'll bring them out to you, and you can do whatever you want to them.
What?
Oh my gosh.
I've heard like people say, see, look, this is Lot taking hospitality very seriously. It would have been awful, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
No, that's bogus crap, man.
What is going on?
Yeah, so like you're this is how this shakes out in the culture right now. This is so annoying. There's some folks out there, they're trying to do everything they can to to give allowance for homosexuality.
Yeah.
So every passage that kind of comes in contact with the idea, you got to explain it away. You got to do some gymnastics around it.
Yeah, it's not that they're being homosexuals, it's that they're rapists and inhospitable.
Yeah. That's
I
right.
mean, that's true.
It's true.
Yeah, but it's also bad.
It's also that's right.
Yeah, it's also
like
just that.
both are bad.
They are absolutely. They're on the wrong end of depravity here.
Yeah. And
that's it. We're canceled.
yeah, that's right.
Well, we had a good
I don't know.
run.
You just gotta
Tell what the Bible says.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. And so, yeah, and then folks try to explain this away too. It's like, well, a breach in hospitality would be worse than offering up your daughters to be raped.
No.
What insane people would believe something like that?
I don't know. I can't. If I can't compute it. There's no computation in my brain that works for this. I'm going outside with my shotgun.
Yeah.
And be like, the first dude that steps to my door he'll be the first to go.
Yeah.
Judgment starts
here. It's the second one to go.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. You can count as high as many as y'all got.
I got 5 rounds.
Yeah. It's awful. What a wild thing.
I know. It's crazy.
Why does he do this, man?
I don't know.
He's bad.
It's bad.
He's a sinner.
He panicked. He panicked.
Yeah, he did. He totally panicked. He's a sinner.
Yeah.
He's called righteous in Hebrews, but remember, righteousness is not because you're sinless and you only make wise, good decisions. Righteousness is because you believe God.
Yeah.
You trust Him. And
also what I was talking about in verse 9, it says, this one who came in as an alien is already acting like a judge. He was sitting in the gate.
Because he's trying to tell him to go away. He says, get out of the way.
Quit doing this evil stuff.
This one came here, as an alien. He's acting like a judge. Now we'll do more harm to you than to them. Now they're going to do it to Lot.
Yeah.
They're going to rape Lot.
They're going to rape Lot.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
They put pressure on Lot and came up to break down the door, but the angels reached out, brought Lot into the house with them, and shut the door. They struck the men who were at the entrance of the house, both young and old, with blindness. Mm-hmm. So that they were not able to find the entrance.
Yeah, we're not able to find the entrance. Is that what your translation says?
Yeah, what's your say?
It says they wearied themselves looking for the entrance. So these guys are struck blind.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to get in there.
Oh my gosh, man.
These are weirdos, man.
This is rough. So here's the mixed bag of the people in the Bible. Okay, we've already seen this. Okay, you have Abraham listens to God. It's wonderful. It's great. You're gonna be a blessing. You're gonna bless others. Basically, sells his wife as a concubine. Next chapter.
And he's already done it once.
He's already done. He's actually about to do it again in the next chapter of this. You have Lot, righteous Lot, right? Vexed, right? Isn't that what it would just vexed? Yeah, vexed. Yeah, vexed by the sin around him, offering up his daughters to be raped, and so that these men won't have to. Like, you didn't have to offer anyone up. We could have just said no.
Katie, bar the door.
Yeah, just bar the door. We don't have to offer these guys anything, right? And so this is the mixed bag of what humanity is like. This is the image being painted for us. So it moves on. The angel said to Lot, do you have anyone else here, a son-in-law, your sons and daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of this place. For we're about to destroy this place because the outcry against its people is so great before the Lord that the Lord has sent us to destroy it.
You know what's funny? It's not funny, but you talk about human nature. So here we are, and we're listening to Abraham, and God says, I'm going to destroy this place. The outcry against it is exceedingly grave. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's as bad as I've heard, I'm going to have to do something.
Yeah.
And so we as humans is like, it can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. God killed the whole place? What is so bad? And then he goes in And it is bad.
It's
this
bad.
bad. And people still read this narrative and go, God shouldn't be killing the whole city.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
You
We
get
still
that
do
vibe
it.
from people?
Yeah, people
Oh
are still
my
like,
gosh.
I don't know about
How could God wipe out his city? How could he not?
Yeah. Well, it's like when Israel comes back from the Exodus and they're genociding cities and everybody's like, how could he do that? It's like, have you read the Bible narrative at all about what people are like? Have you seen?
Yeah.
We live in a very golden age where God has been super nice to us. It teaches us in the scriptures in Romans that the governmental authorities are here, swing the sword to keep us safe from violence and wickedness. And when you don't have governance that does that, it's awful. And we've had good. I mean, people like to fight on Twitter and everything, but boy, we've had it good. I'm telling you, because overseas, you talk to some, you got to. I don't even hardly want to go there, but like if you have friends,
I don't know, it's the perspective is good.
If you've had friends who've been deployed to a war zone and saw real stuff that the enemies of the United States were doing to their own citizens, people wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
They might have seen some of it on like in the old days on YouTube, like when they captured some of those construction workers and beheaded them on TV.
Oh yeah.
They were taking just awful stuff. Dropping cinder blocks on people's heads from upper stories, women cutting babies out. This stuff is inside the last 20 years, and it happens when there's lawlessness. So there is a deep wickedness that can get loose in the world. Yeah, where it's like, golly, how do you start to sort this mess out? Yeah. So we're talking about some deep wickedness here.
That's right.
This is a tragedy.
We're so shielded from it in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't hate that.
I'm glad we're shielded from it, but I'm just thinking about even here. It's like it's not so bad, and then you watch a TV show where they like get a police officer to pose as an 11-year-old kid on the internet. Oh yeah, and they start catfishing pedophiles, and it's like one showing up to the house after another, and it's like, what is going on?
There's just like a ring caught in like Tuscaloosa just like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, same exact thing. And yeah, so it's like we have a suburban facade. You know, that nothing really bad happens to people. The world's good. We're all good. Everything's fine. And because
that dog in hell with his cup of coffee. This is fine. This is good.
Fine. The meme. I love that meme. Yeah. We have that vibe going on. But the reality is that like the world is a dark place. Yes. And just because you're shielded from that reality, your nose isn't rubbed in it all the time, does not mean that the house isn't full of crap.
Because there's also light. Yeah. There's 10 righteous persons still in it. You know, so there's righteous people. There's light and dark. It's all over.
And we live in not arguably, hands down. Yeah. The best place and the best time in all of history.
And people still ain't happy with it.
I know it. We do. It's never been better than this.
Never.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. I drove all the way to Auburn and back today, 6 hours.
What'd you do?
I went and saw my son at school.
Oh, man. What a good dad.
What a good dad. I brought him some Little Debbie's and some Cokes.
Care package?
Little care package.
Yeah.
Make sure he's getting enough sugar and processed food.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what you do. It's like, son, eat this now. Eat this now, son. A day will come when they'll go straight to your hips. They said, we can't gain weight. And I was like, have you tried eating a Little Debbie every time you see one?
I'll teach you how.
Let me instruct you. Yeah, anyway.
We live in a golden age.
I said, how you going to get a dad bod and get a girl if you don't start eating these?
That's right. I have a dad bod.
Yeah. I trust you. Be like, that guy can make money. Anyway.
Yeah. So it's never been better than now. Mm-hmm. You read situations like this, cultures like this. I mean, could you imagine if Albertville was a place where every night there was not
roving games of rape piss?
Not secret, like relatively rare abuse, sexual abuse, but roving, open, raping, knocking on doors.
Hide your wife, hide your kids.
I mean, it's time to drop the fireball, dude. Hide your husband. Drop the fireball. That there's sometimes like you get later in the story, you have the sacrificial system where the death of an animal is blocking what ought to be happening to you.
Yeah.
Man, sometimes
it happens to them.
Sometimes they get what's coming.
Yeah, the Bible says the government doesn't swing the sword in vain. It doesn't wield the sword in vain.
Sometimes you are the sacrifice. Like
sometimes
it's
you pay for it.
It's going to be you.
We all owe a death.
Yep, that's right.
So anyway, he says, "Get out of here.
Get out of here." Yeah,
we're fixing to
get out of Dodge, man.
And he says, "Okay," and he goes to his sons-in-law.
Yep.
And he says, "Hey, we got to get out of here." And he says, "It seemed to them as if he were jesting."
Yeah.
Dude, he left them.
He did.
And possibly 2 daughters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is it 2 daughters, too?
Well, it says sons-in-law, and I only know one way to get a son-in-law.
Did they just leave the sons-in-law?
Yeah. But he says, I've got 2 daughters, never been with a man.
Oh.
So you got sons-in-law.
He did leave 2 daughters.
That's what I'm saying.
I've never noticed that. Wow. Yeah. Whoa.
Well, some
that
translations
sucks,
will say sons-in-laws who were to marry, but that were to marry is not in the text.
Oh, so they're assuming that is like some kind of
it's like they
thing.
wouldn't. I think it tries to soften it up a bit. Like Lot didn't leave his married daughters there, but I 100% think he left married daughters in that city.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to go. He lingered.
Yeah.
It says they grabbed him by the hand and said, "Get out now."
Wow. So he, after he hesitated, because of the Lord's compassion for him, the men grabbed his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters. They brought him out and left him outside the city. As soon as the angels got them outside, one of them said, "Run for your lives. Don't look back and don't stop anywhere on the plain. Run to the mountains or you will be swept away." Mm-hmm. And Lot actually does a little haggling with him. He's like, "What, can I go to this other little town over here?" And like, "Okay, yeah, fine."
Zoar.
Yeah, Zoar, that's right. And then out of the sky, the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah burning sulfur from the Lord. Mm-hmm. Wow. How about that? Hey, did you know, did you see this a couple years ago? Geologists or something, they were digging around the dirt in that valley. As they do.
Yeah.
In that valley, the Sodom and Gomorrah, it's got a name, some kind of river valley. And it's still like, apparently you can't till it, you can't use it for farmland. It's a barren land. Mm-hmm. And they found evidence that there was one of those what are those asteroids that explode in the sky? You know what I'm talking about? They enter the atmosphere and explode over it. It's what happened in Russia.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years ago, decades ago.
Yeah, broke windows out.
Yeah, wiped out, like the whole force is like flattened.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. That happened here. They have like geological evidence for it. It's like if you.
I thought you was telling me they dug down, found a sulfur layer or something.
It is. That is what.
Oh,
it is.
that's where he was going.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's
that.
exactly what it is. Yeah. It's this like wipeout asteroid sulfuric like craziness thing. I might put a little image up on the
do it
right there.
You're so smart.
And after if I remember, if you're seeing this and it's not up there, it's because I forgot. But
fail.
Yeah. But what if I did it?
I
don't know. Then it won't be a fail. I
feel like this is Schrodinger's cat now. This one will it pop up? Will it not?
What's going to happen? Yeah. So there's like they've found that evidence, which is cool. Which means obviously that if you keep sinning, God's going to drop an asteroid on you.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, He'll do it. He did it. Like that's crazy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He pulled an asteroid out of space on these people.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna blow this place up. Gosh. I hate this place.
Lot's wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Well, I got 2 things.
Okay.
She had daughters in that city, and then 2, it doesn't mean like she just looked. She lingered, and she got swept away. It doesn't mean like she went barren or something. I mean, she was destroyed.
She didn't turn into a pillar of salt?
I mean, maybe she got vaporized is what I think happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she stayed.
You think?
A lot ran off without her, too.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah, he did.
He took his daughters. I think it's because she had kids in that city, man.
Yeah. That's a tough situation, man. Brutal.
It is a heart-wrenching, horrible story.
It is. Yeah.
Because, look, if there's a city like that, we want it to get blown up.
That's right.
They don't want everybody in there to be gone. That's how they act. You need to get gone. But, like, she's like, I got babies in that city.
They're complicit.
Yeah.
They stayed, man.
Hey, listen here. This is a good evangelistic moment. If you don't know Jesus, you need to repent. Because you don't know when that dam of God's wrath is going to burst.
I know. And here's the reality. This isn't the extreme of God's wrath. This is a microcosm of God's wrath. This is a minute, small example of what it means to defy God, to hate his world, to hate him, to hate his creation, and to abuse it.
To be turned totally towards selfishness and selfish pleasure. Yeah.
Yep. This is a small example of what that turns out to be for you. The greatest example, the biggest example in its entirety, of course, is an eternity in hell. So, repent. Early in the morning, Abraham went to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah and all the land of the plain, and he saw that smoke was going up from the land like the smoke of a furnace. So it was, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham and brought Lot out of the middle of the upheaval when he demolished the cities where Lot had lived. Do you recognize that land like the smoke of a furnace?
Yeah.
In Revelation?
Yeah. Also in God's appearance just a while ago.
That's right.
In Abraham's dream.
You're right. I bet it's, I'm sure it's from that one.
Yeah.
I bet it's in Revelation reflecting on both of them.
Yeah. It's the judgment. It says the smoke of their torment will ascend before the throne forever.
Yep.
It's bad. This is judgment.
And it kind of gets a little bit worse.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, it is, I shouldn't say kind of. This is worse. You've just seen a cataclysmic judgment at a scale you've never seen before, and we're going to go do
besides
a bad
the
thing.
flood.
Yeah. But these people specifically, we're going to go do a bad thing, because what happens right after this, Lot and his 2 daughters go and live in this cave system up near Zoar.
Because Lot's terrified.
He's so scared.
He thinks God's going to kill this city.
Yeah.
So think about it. He goes to Zoar, and he's like, this place is as bad as the one I just left.
Yeah.
Because the only reason Zoar was spared is for Lot. Lot was like, just let me go to this little city. It's little. Is it not little? And Zoar means little place, little city.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just a little city. And he goes in there, and he sits there, and he's like, God's going to kill this place. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And he runs off to the mountains.
Yep. He departed from Zoar, lived in the mountains. They live in a cave. And his firstborn daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man in the land to sleep with us, as is the custom of all the land."
Okay, yes. And then he sleeps with his daughters and gets them pregnant after they get him liquored up.
Yeah, come, let's get our father to drink wine so that we can sleep with him and preserve our father's line, is what they say. And they do that.
And the only possible redeeming pinpoint here is that those girls may have thought everybody in the world was dead.
Oh, my goodness. They might have.
They might have thought everybody... Because it's the word land, right?
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's land here. But remember, they're not that far removed from God destroying the earth in a flood or the land in the flood.
Yeah.
They're like, my father saw an angel. He said the whole place is getting destroyed. And we're like great-great-great-great-great-grandpappy Noah. There's nobody left. It's us.
Wow. I've never thought about that
before.
Yeah,
I am trying to be generous, right?
That's the generous look.
I think by their
Noah
words, they
2.0.
think there's nobody left.
Yeah.
And if we don't sleep with our dad, the human race is over.
Wow.
It's kind of what they're thinking.
How
surprised they were. The first caravan it rolled by, they're like, oh, crap. We thought y'all was dead.
Oh, my gosh, man. Oh, gosh, that's funny. So they sleep with their dad.
Yeah.
They have babies with him.
And the Moabites, God blesses them. They have the Ammonites and the Moabites.
Yeah, that's right. Blessed. Golly, these people are thorns in Israel's side later on.
Yes,
man.
they are.
So this is
But God is merciful towards them for a while.
Yeah.
Like he lets he's like, hey, if the Moabites are nice to you, I'm going to be nice to them.
Yeah.
They messed up.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
What a mess, man.
What a mess.
It's such a mess, dude.
Yeah.
And right after this, you're supposed to, when you're reading this, you're supposed to be thinking this is a mess. You're not supposed to be looking at these stories like, oh, what virtues am I about to learn? And like paths of righteousness. You're supposed to be looking at this and saying, the world it's not just my town. It's all the towns. This is a broken world. That
Also,
we live
you
in.
shouldn't, if you're cherry picking the story of Sodom and Gomorrah to say, look what they got, like God destroyed that place because it's so wicked, maybe he'll destroy your city too or something. Man, you miss the humanity of this moment. Like, there's terrible people there.
Yeah.
But it's sad.
There's terrible.
It's sad, though,
is sad.
where they've gotten to as a people. What happens to Lot? What
Yeah.
happens to his daughter? The aftermath of all this stuff. It's sad. Even when the wicked are destroyed, the righteous still suffer.
Yeah, that's right. And there's still something to grieve always, man. It's like
the Bible talks about when your enemy falls, don't rejoice over him. It's be grieved.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this is not good.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they get out of this story, and then right after this, Abraham does the same thing he did in a couple chapters ago with his wife, sells his wife to Abimelech.
Means my father is king.
Checking on our time. Yeah. Which is, so Abimelech is that like
It's probably a title because
Yeah.
Isaac shows up and there's another Abimelech, and it probably means my father's Ab means father. Abi, my father, Melech. My father's king.
Oh, yeah. And so this is like somewhere around the Negev, somewhere in, I don't know what people this is, though. He's just a king somewhere in the land of Canaan.
Somewhere.
And he sells his, the same kind of thing. She's my sister. She's actually my wife. Sarah obviously was still good looking at 100 years old.
And barren.
And barren still, And God comes to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, "You are about to die because of the woman you have taken, for she is a married woman."
Yeah. God speaks to him.
Yeah.
Directly.
That's rare.
It didn't happen with
It's a big
Pharaoh
deal,
this way.
yep.
And Abimelech said, "Oh, what are you talking about? I didn't know. He told me it was his sister."
Yeah, Lord, would you destroy a nation even though it is innocent? Didn't he himself
Wait a
say to
minute.
me, "She is my
Wait a minute.
sister"?
Say that again. Would you destroy a nation? Will you sweep the righteous away with the unrighteous?
That's right.
We are seeing that this. Why is this story attached right after Sodom and Gomorrah?
Directly related to this question.
Directly related to this. Will God not do what's right? And second, Abraham is not any better.
Yep.
He is a sinner too.
That's right.
I mean, he's not surrounding the house trying to rape people, but he is giving his wife away.
Yeah.
So he's not innocent.
Yeah.
And it's tagged onto the end of Sodom and Gomorrah so that you can see that Abraham's not that bad. I mean, not that great.
Yeah.
And throughout the scripture, he's always telling Israel, if I hadn't left you a remnant, you'd be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
If I hadn't preserved you, you would be worse.
Yeah.
And so the point here is you put this on the end of this other story to be like, why is failure everywhere?
Yeah.
How long does God have to put up with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also...
And the promise of God is in jeopardy. Because he just said, in a year, I'm coming back and you're going to have a baby.
Yeah.
And the one he promised was going to have it is now with another dude. And if he sleeps with her, the parentage of Isaac is in question.
Yep. Coupled with the destruction of cities like God's like starting to wipe people out.
Yeah.
And we got this promise sitting in between all of it all. But I think a lot of these they're paired together, answering the question about the justice of God, like the righteousness of God. Like, is God righteous? Like, what kind of God are we dealing with here? As if, and what it does, it turns the question on its head and says, who are you to put God on trial? Mm-hmm. Is what these stories do. God does what is right, always does what is right. And we're not the ones supposed to be questioning his righteousness in those things. And before it was, will God judge the wicked with the righteous? And does he? Or the righteous with the wicked?
No.
No, he saves a lot out of it. Is he going to do it here? No, he's going to spare Abimelech.
Yeah, he
right?
said, I already spared you.
He says, yes, I know that you did this with a clear conscience. I have also kept you from sinning against me. God kept him from sinning. Therefore, I have not let you touch her. Now return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live.
But if you don't,
know that you will certainly die, you and all who are yours.
everybody.
So is God righteous? Yeah.
God's take off the gloves in that place. Man,
Yeah.
he's had it at this point. He's like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, and he's going to do what is right always.
Yeah.
And so I think these stories all sandwiched together are telling us like God keeps his promises. He's keeping the promise to Abraham and Sarah. He's not just doing that though. He knows the heart, and he knows what true righteousness is, and it's not sinlessness, it's faith. And he is not going to let the faithful perish. Mm-hmm. He's not going to do it. Won't do it. Refuses to do it. So that's given us.
Abraham gets chewed out a little bit.
He does. Yeah.
He had it coming.
Yep. Yeah. What he said.
What?
Abimelech called Abraham in and said to him, "What have you done to us? How did I sin against you that you've brought such enormous guilt on me
and my kingdom?"
Yep.
Yeah.
You've done things to me that should never be done.
Yes.
Abimelech also asked Abraham, "What made you do this?" Abraham replied, "I thought there is absolutely no fear of God in this place. They'll kill me because of my wife. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father, though not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife."
All right, so here's what's going on. All right, so we see that Sodom and Gomorrah get nuked.
Yeah.
Right, and Abraham prays for them, and the righteous get delivered out of it. And you might start thinking, well, Sodom's super wicked, and Lot and Abraham are the good guys. We got them out. And then you get this story where Abraham is not the good guy, and the Gentile from nowhere has more sense in his head than Abraham does.
That's right.
Abraham's thing where he says, "I thought there'd be no fear of God before the eyes of this people," is implicitly saying, I didn't know you knew the Lord. I thought you was going to be like these other people. I've been dealing with Sodom and Gomorrah, man. You got to understand. Because I think what you read there when it said, how did it, what have you, it's encountered.
What have you done to us?
And then, no, at the end, where is it? Like verse.
What made you do this?
Yes. What have you encountered? Verse 10, what did you say?
Mine says, what made you do this?
What made you do this? What have you encountered? It's like the question, like, what could possibly have happened that would have made you want to say this? Why would you do this?
Sodom and Gomorrah, man.
Yeah. It's like, well, once upon a time, I was living by the oaks of Mamre.
Yeah. And,
wow. Yeah.
How about that? So they end up, making nice with each other, and Abimelech gives them a bunch of stuff too, which is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
He don't deserve it.
Yeah, he's like, here, take this stuff. He's a prophet, though. God told him. He's like, here, and yeah. And what happens if since he did that?
What do you mean? God healed Abimelech, his wife, his family, his female slaves, so that they could bear children. For the Lord had completely closed all the wombs in Abimelech's household on account of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Wow. So there's mercy, too, in all this. And so it's not, you have like, it's merciful. It's mercy to those who will listen to God,
Yeah. He blesses Abraham, and he is blessed in turn.
Yep, that's right. So we're seeing some of these same things, repeat themselves over and over again.
But look, when you read about the judgment of God, it ought to make your ears burn a little bit.
Let's give the big deal. What's the big deal?
Is the judgment of God is fierce and final.
Yeah.
And it should freak you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like there ought to be a little something inside of you. It's like, I kind of want to hide when I read this. Because God's judgment is scary, and you can't tell him what to do. It's like the overused, probably C.S. Lewis quote about Aslan. Is he good? Yes, he's good, but he's not safe.
Yeah.
God's not safe.
It's overused for a good reason.
Yeah.
It's well said.
Right. It's well said, and God is not safe in that sense. Like sinners, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
There's a reason that's the theme.
Yeah.
The fear of God. God's the most terrifying person you'll ever meet in your life.
Yeah, for sure. No
Easily.
doubt about it.
Hands down. I asked the students this question the other day in youth group, and I was like, who's the scariest person you think of, And they're saying different things. Like when some person said Satan, someone, says like Putin or something like that. I was like, it's God.
It's God.
God is the most terrifying person in all of creation. He's above creation in all of existence.
The only thing that restrains him is his kindness and compassion.
He is so loving.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But his power, his knowledge, his justice.
He's way more patient than us.
Way more patient. Man, if we were in the seat of God.
If you, dear friend, who are listening to this, think God is mean for what he did with Sodom and Gomorrah and how he doesn't put up with any sex outside of marriage and all that stuff, you think he's bad.
Yeah.
If you knew what went on inside people's heads and hearts, you'd be like Moses coming down the mountain after asking God not to kill Israel, and he gets down there and he sees what they're doing. He's like, get on your swords and kill your brothers.
Yeah. Consider this. If you bore witness to every sin that ever happened in all of eternity, how long would it take you to wipe them all out? Every rape, every murder, every stupid little petty jealous thought,
every Karen yelling at somebody in a park,
yelling at the manager and the kid that's not even the manager.
And you see those things. I know we're wrapping this thing up, but like, you catch a little reel on your reels, and you see this woman just showing her, as we say in the South, showing her butt, and she's chewing out some kids because they can't be here. It's a private park, and everybody on the internet's like, that woman should be thrown in jail and drowned to death, and blah blah blah. Man, probably 95% of the time, she's like a nice person.
Yeah,
and who had a bad day.
And that's the judgment call for everyone.
Oh yeah,
just kill her.
It's Karen. Oh, she's the worst.
Yeah,
but like, you've done dumb stuff like that if people saw it.
Yeah.
And you got captured on YouTube, and you're worth showing your butt moment.
You think you're better than God?
Oh,
you ain't better than God. Oh my gosh, man.
He's like, seriously?
He's so patient. He's so patient, man.
Oh yeah. We try to hurry it up.
We're testing it. We're testing that patience.
We're sinful in the way we want to mitigate justice.
Yeah, that's right.
We're silly gooses.
Yep. God is great. God is good. Let's think of
for our food.
Yeah, it's true though. He's wonderful. He's the most terrifying person in all of the universe, but he's also easily the most loving.
He's all powerful.
Yep.
You can't stop him.
Yep.
If you wanted to, you couldn't stop him.
Yep.
Nothing can stop him.
Yep.
The only reason we're still alive is because he's nice.
Yep. That's right.
Kind.
That's right. That's it.
If he today said, I'm sick of this place, it's going in file 13, boom, nobody could stop him.
Yeah.
Angels in heaven couldn't stop him. He's like, I get rid of y'all too. I get rid of everything.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants.
He don't.
You can't stop him.
Well, he does
whatever he wants.
He just don't wipe us all out.
Because he's kind.
Yeah. All right. So that's the big deal about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next week we'll see. We'll talk about Isaac a good bit, and probably talk about the covenant, the sacrifice of Isaac on the mountain.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Okay. We'll talk about this. Isaac is Abraham's son, so make sure you tune. I think that's all the time we got. Yeah.
Yeah. We can't get into
that's
laughter.
Yeah. We don't have enough time for that. So next week, make sure you tune in. We're going to be talking about the sacrifice of Isaac. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Do all the social media things. See you later.
See ya.